Okay, sorry about that. Again, I keep doing that. All right, we're doing the chapter 10A study guide. All right, I gotta get all my stuff in line here. There we go. Okay. Cosine, 1 over cosine. What's the reciprocal function for cosine? Remember we said that it never matches. So sine matches with cosecant, cosine with secant, and tan with cotan. So since we're looking at cosine, our answer is secant. Alright, and now we're converting this. So what we're going to do to convert from degrees, minutes, seconds to decimals, we're going to type into our calculator 12 plus, there are 60 minutes in a degree, and there are 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in a degree, so that's why that's squared. So if we plug this into our calculator, I have 12 plus 25 divided 60 plus 43 divided 60 squared. We have 12.4286 and a bunch of ones. Okay, so now, obviously we're rounding to 3 decimal places. That's our third. The 6 means we round up, so the answer is going to be 12.429. So our answer is C. Be very careful you round correctly, because I'm being sneaky and I put that in there on you. All right, secant of theta is equal to 4 over 3. Remember, we find this by doing a inverse cosine, because that's the reciprocal of the reciprocal. Okay, inverse cosine, because cosine is the reciprocal of secant of the reciprocal value. So, second cosine, 1 divide 4.3, and I get 76.55227296. I know. A lot of decimals, you don't need all of that, but we're going to keep it for right now. All right, notice it says to the nearest minute, so it can't be the one with the 5, because that's decimal, not minutes. So what we do is we subtract 76 minus 76, and we get just the decimal portion. We multiply that by 60. Since we divided it to get to minutes, we multiplied to get it back to decimal. So I multiply it by 60, and I get 33.136, etc. So this will round to 33. So I have 76 degrees, 33 minutes. So that's D. In which quadrant does the terminal side, oh, my negative didn't transfer down here. Terminal side of a negative 820 degree angle lie. Okay. So let's look at this. Negative means I sweep downwards. One full circle is 360. I do another full circle, and that's 720. So if I take 820 and I subtract 720, I'm going to get 100. Well, 100 more would get me, that's 90, so 100 more is going to get me a little further. So this is in the third quadrant. Remember, our quadrants are 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now we're going to move over here, and we're going to go look at number 5. Reference angle for 790. Again, positive 360, 720, 790 minus 720 is 70. So my answer is 70. Because I'm going up to here, that's 70. So my reference angle is that angle. It's always the angle made with the x-axis. So it's 70 degrees. All right, give the exact value of the cotan of negative 180. All right, so we look at this. Negative 180 is to here. So we're looking for the point right here on the unit circle would be negative 1, 0. We know that tan is y over x. So cotan is going to be x over y. In this case, my x is negative 1 over 0. Whoops! That means undefined. So that means we have an E. Okay. What is the radian measure of an angle whose terminal side intersects the unit circle at? Well, first off, we're going to estimate where that is, where this point exists. Well, it's a positive x, which is this direction, and a negative y, which is that direction. So I'm down here, okay? So this point on the unit circle, all right, since it's a unit circle, I know, remember I told you the only thing I've memorized is the sine. The sine of pi over 6, that's a 30-degree angle, is 1/2. So sine is my y value, so negative 1/2. All the negative is going to do is put me in the right quadrant. So that's why I've already found the quadrant. So since the sine is 1/2, it tells me it's basically some multiple of pi over 6. We look at our answers, we can see that that's going to be true. Remember that I have 6 pi over 6's because that's pi. And then I have, this is going to be 12 to get all the way around. So to here would actually be 11. So my answer is 11 pi over 6. All right, convert 7 pi over 12 to degrees. Now remember what we said. We divide out what we don't want. So in degrees we don't have a pi, so we divide out the pi. We multiply in what we do want, and I need degrees. Remember that 180 is the same as pi, so this is basically multiplying it by 1. Okay, so I cross out the 2 pi's. 12 is 2 times 6. 180 is 6 times 30. So I can cross those off. And 30 over 2, well, would turn that 30 into a 15. So I have 7 times 15 is my answer. This would be 105. So my answer is C. Oops, okay. Now we move on to the second page. The test is only 2 pages, so that's lovely. Find the exact value of the tan of negative 5 pi over 6. Well, first of all, negative 5 pi over 6 puts me there, which means my tangent, remember tangent, is positive here because it's x over y, which would be a negative over a negative, makes it positive. So I'm going to have an angle in this quadrant. Okay, so now I have, okay, so that means my reference angle right here is basically a pi over 6. On the unit, okay, so for pi over 6, remember I said the sine of 30, or pi over 6, is 1/2. Alright, so that means that the cosine is the root 3 over 2 number. Tangent is sine over cosine, So if I cross out the 2's, I end up with the tangent as 1 over root 3. Well, I rationalize that and I get root 3 over 3. It's a positive number, so it's going to be a positive root 3 over 3. Okay, not too bad. Number 10 is over here. Alright, this one's a little dicier. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull out these triangles separately. Yeah, I've got some extra space over here. Okay, so I have A, B, C. I'm looking for the sign of A, which means I need its opposite over its hypo. So I need those two values. So if I pull this out and I redraw it, this is A, C, and B. This is 5. That is my opposite. So I know that the sign of A is going to be opposite over, now I have to find the hypo. To do that, I'm going to pull out, let me change to, I'm going to pull out this triangle. Alright, so I've got short side is 3, long side is 4, same as what I have above. Let's see, so this would be B. I kind of flipped it, and then this would be C. 3, 4, and my hypo is 5. So I know that the hypo of what I'm looking for, we're going to just call that H. I know that H is to the hypo of this one as my side opposite is to, which is, notice it's my short side, so my short side is 3. Alright, so this means that H is 25, 5 times 5 over 3. Well, that's what I'm putting down here, 25 over 3. But to solve this, I flip and multiply. So I end up with 5 times 3 over 25, which has 2 5's in it. I cross them out. I end up with 3 over 5. You've got to be able to do those fractions. Alright, so that is the sign of A, 3 over 5. Alright, now I need the exact angles, or lengths of B and C. I know I have an angle, so what do I need? I have the opposite, so I'm going to go find my sine first. I know that the sine of 30 degrees is 1/2. Well, in this case, that's 7 over C, opposite over hypotenuse. So if I solve this little equation, this piece, I end up with, I multiply both sides by C, gives me C over 2 equals 7. Multiply both sides by 2, I get C is equal to 14. Well, that there is one of my answers. I needed to find C. I just did. So this is 14. Now to find B, I'm still going to go with my angle here. I know that, okay, you know what? You don't have to do it this way. You could do your Pythagorean theorem. You have two sides. Right? B squared plus 7 squared equals 14 squared. But I can also do it this way. I know that the tan of 30 degrees is 1 over root 3. And I know in this case that opposite is 7 over B. To solve this, I get B over root 3 equals 7. Multiply both sides by root 3. B is 7 root 3. This is my second length. Now you could have done this with your Pythagorean theorem, so I'll do that over here. I have 14 squared is equal to 7 squared plus B squared. Okay, so then I have 14 squared, which is 196, minus 7 squared, which is 49, is equal to B squared. So 196 minus 49 is 147. So if I square root that, I'm going to get B. Well, obviously, that's what, 349. I know that because I know what it is simplified. You'd have to simplify this. So this is 3 times 49, which means this comes out as a 7. So I'm going to have 7 root 3. You can choose to find it either way. All right, our last problem is this big, gigantic word problem. Okay, a lumberjack standing 50 feet from a tree, okay, from the tree, measures a 5-degree down angle and a 27-degree up angle. All right, this, we also know that this would be 50 because we're drawing it parallel to the ground. So that's going to be 50. So what we need is x and y, and then we add them together for the height. Okay, so we have opposite. We're looking for opposite. We have adjacent. That screams tangent to me. So I have that the tan of 27 is equal to x over 50. Well, that means that 50 tan 27 is equal to x. I plug that in my calculator. Out pops a number. Okay. There it is. 25.4762. Anyway, a big long thing. 4762747. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing with our lower triangle, right? So what we just did was this triangle, and we found x. Now we're going to do this triangle and find y. All right, so we have $50. It's the same exact situation. We've got the tan of 5 now is equal to y over 50. So 50 tan 5 is equal to y. We plug that into our calculator. We get 4.374433176. We add these two numbers together, and we get we add these two numbers together, and we get a height of 29.85. Now it says to the nearest tenth, so that's going to be 29.9. So that's my final answer. Okay, and we are done with the study guide. Good luck as you take this tomorrow.